Episode 1. The Accident. The cave job should have been like any other gig at the colony, but this day permanently marked it into my memory. Early one morning, me and my coworkers, Eric and Ken, descended into an underground cave. Stalactites hung from the ceiling, stalagmites pointed up from the ground. We wore environment suits. They're like padded spacesuits colonists wear anytime we're outside. The SO3 air is thin, not really breathable. Icy, rocky. The planet's only redeeming factor is its fresh water. Here's how it worked. Ken set up the rock climbing gear, shot a cable into the cave wall, and hooked up Eric. Eric had these climbing gloves with little fibers on the fingertips. He called them gecko hands. He took advantage of SO3's 70% gravity. Eric would climb the cave wall and leap onto a stalactite. From there, he'd use his sampler to harvest microbes that lived up there for the moisture. My job was to keep watch. I just don't see why guys like you, who've only been assigned on SO3 for, 6 months, get to carry a gun, Eric said. I've been here for 11 months. Ken's been here 17. I think I've earned the right to defend myself. Ken argued that my skills, my exceptional genetic reaction, made sense for why I got the responsibility of carrying. I agreed, and backed up the boss's way of thinking. You can't trust anyone on a planet like this. The safest option is to only give the qualified people weapons. Then Ken brought up the robots, an almost taboo subject on SO3, even though we all knew they were out there. Occasional sightings had mounted the past few weeks. Robots sent decades ago to explore. Advanced robots, programmed to rebuild themselves, evolve, and change. We lost track of them long ago. They were unrecognizable now, out beyond the icy plains of the colony, fully unchecked. We carried on for a while in awkward silence. We'd almost finished for the day when disaster struck. Eric leapt onto a stalactite, but landed at a bad angle. Suddenly, I heard a weird rattling noise from my earpiece, metal clanking. It was getting louder. I asked Ken to keep Eric's wire steady. I shined a flashlight across the ceiling. That's when I saw it. A strange, four-legged object that resembled a spider. It moved effortlessly on the ceiling, sprinting right towards Eric. Without a word, I drew my handgun and traced the creature's path along the ceiling. I fired 3 shots immediately. One shot pierced one of its wiry legs. It let out a high-pitched, ear-piercing screech and leapt forward. "What's going on?" Eric yelled. "Eric, I'm lowering you down now," Ken said. "Jump!" Eric unstuck his hand and prepared to jump, but his foot slipped on an ice patch. His sampler fell out of his hand and plummeted. He almost plummeted too. He stuck his left hand on the stalactite at the last second and held onto its tip by that one hand. "Quick, just let go! I'll bring you down!" Ken yelled. But it was too late. As Eric looked up, the robotic spider was already on the stalactite, one of its legs poised with a sharp blade at the end. The robot sliced through his cable. There was nothing me or Ken could do. I finished the spider off with 4 thunderous shots. Its body went limp. It unstuck and fell to the ground, but the safety cable had been severed, so we couldn't bring him down. Eric held on for a bit longer. Then he fell. I'll never forget that ear-piercing scream as he did.
Hope you enjoyed that episode. Subscribe to stay tuned for more. Or buy my novel that it's based on, link in the description. I appreciate any support.